Hey everybody, it is Cinnamon Cooney, your art Sherpa, and today live I am going to show you guys how you can really paint, and I mean this how you at home can really paint this image. We did a viewer directed, we like to do a lot of viewer directed content on our channel, and we did a viewer directed vote on what you guys might like to paint this summer, and you guys were allowed to just submit what you were finding out there, and I was either going to redesign it or get licensing to it.
Mm-hmm.
And this was by far the hands down, slam down, total winner.
Oh, yeah.
On the mic, you're hearing my husband, John. John follows me around with several cameras so you can see close-ups, the palette, and me.
Close-ups, the palette.
And me.
And you.
That's like a song. That's like a folk song right there. Close-ups, the palette, and me. Okay. So that's going to let you really know everything I'm doing. I'm going to explain everything. I'm going to really specifically talk about how do you paint clear water.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of blows everybody's mind. They always want, how do I paint the clear part of the water? It freaks me out. So I'm going to show you how you actually do that. We're going to talk about how using hyper areas of focus and realism to create perspective in a painting. And we're going to have some really fun color mixes and talk about how an image like this is created and how we might do that. I want you guys to think of this as like we're on a retreat, a tropical art retreat together. And this is probably how I would show you how to do this painting. If we could be like on a sandy beach, bubbles coming by, cabana drinks being delivered to us in our hands, having no bill worries. Do you like my fantasy?
I do. And you know, we are way past Sherpa. We're just having staggering number of people coming in. We've over 430 people, and it just keeps going up by tens as I look over by it. So thank you guys for all showing up. We're having this is a really nice welcome here on a Saturday
really
afternoon. So
a good welcome here.
It's good to be with you guys. So thank you for coming and hanging out with us. And since we're way past our normal Sherpa of 300, we just want to say if you're at home with us, get up and dance so you can remember to celebrate.
Today.
Yeah, we're going to have a good time.
We are going to have picture-in-picture today, too.
Oh, yeah, I've got
so
it right here.
That's something to celebrate.
Let's see. Let's check that out. See, there's picture-in-picture.
This is my zero-calorie cabana drink.
Yeah, that's right. It is water.
I use imagination. This isn't a pineapple. It's carved. It has umbrellas.
It's the dough. Well, guys, thank you for coming and being with us. And if you're at home and you can't get up and dance, don't forget to wiggle those fingers and wiggle those toes. And we look forward to seeing all these pictures being shared up with us, don't we?
We do. Now, I'm doing a couple of things today to get better, like to help me do this. And I'm sharing these with you because you guys ask a lot of times, how do I work from a photograph? What can I do?
Mm-hmm.
And so one of the things that I like to do is, besides having the image in color, see if I can untape this little sucker because I really stuck it down. I also like to take it into black and white.
Oh, yeah?
Sometimes your eye can get confused by the hue of things. That's the color they are.
Yeah.
And not see the value. That's how light and dark it is.
Gotcha.
And today I was actually answering a question in the group about that.
Mm-hmm.
And I realized, that's a good thing to talk about today. So, like, I have close-ups. I have details blown up of my image.
Mm-hmm.
And I have color and black and white. And that's going to help me really determine my value and get some of that look that you guys like so much in this piece. Now, we usually do wishes on our canvas.
Mm-hmm.
So I had a couple of those coming up
cool.
today. There was a really special wish.
Yep.
And I'm going to do this kind of down here where I know I'm going to do some dark color. I don't have a whole lot of room where I'm sure I can paint right over. But Tonya had a really great wish for a lady who needed to get home safely and continue on her art journey.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just going to write that in there and paint that into the world. And then we had a wish for a mom to be cancer-free, and I think that's just an amazing wish. Yeah. I really just hate cancer, so cancer-free and best prognosis.
And we also had a wish here for all of our friends who had passing loved ones recently. We wanted to send kindness and love to them and compassion for their loss.
And there's been a forest fire. So we heard about a forest fire, and we want to say that we wish everybody safe and that they're taken care of.
Yeah. And definitely for everyone fighting for cancer out there.
Yeah.
There's a couple of requests out there in the community for some brain cancer, man. Yeah. and
Let's just
cancer.
say that we
We're
wish
gonna
that they
kick
just
all
cure
them.
this illness once and for all. Cured, just we're done. It's one of those things like certain old illnesses that we just don't have anymore.
Yeah.
We can talk about it in the past tense would be a dream.
It would.
It would be an awesome dream. I'm going to lay in this painting.
Okay.
I'm going to show you how I'm going to do that. Over here I have my colors today though. I have a 9x12 canvas board. It's pre-gessoed. Little note on that. That means it comes already gessoed. You only need to gesso it again if you're not enjoying the surface of the painting. So like when you're painting on it, if you're like, oh, this is rough. Oh, I don't like this. Oh, this isn't taking paint. That's when you might do another surface prep. You don't just have to gesso it to gesso it.
Gotcha.
Okay. So over here I have this color. This is the palette, and these are the tools I'm thinking I'm going to be using today. I have Cad Yellow Medium, Alizarine Crimson Hue, Dog's Eating Purple, Phthalo Green, Cad Red Light, Indian Yellow Hue. By the way, any yellow deep, guys, right? So Cad Yellow Deep, any yellow deep will be okay here. I have a little Mars Black, Phthalo Blue, Titanium White, Zinc White. If you don't have any zinc white, just use more of your glazing gloss liquid into your titanium white. Even though that's still different than what this is, it'll get you through, right? Because this is just about making the white. Zinc white isn't just a transparent white. We have a whole quest on what zinc white is. And I also have some burnt sienna. I have a little soft body fluid paint for flicking. I have an interesting thing here. I'm going to show you a neat trick. This is a sea sponge. These are little sea sponges. You can get these at any craft location. They're not expensive. I've even seen them at the dollar store. There's going to be a little trick here to do some amazing sand. I'm going to also be using a little splatter brush today. For sure, for sure, for sure. And I'm going to be using a little cloud brush today. So lots of fun, yummy techniques that we're going to be working out. Let me clear my workspace really, really, really quickly.
Okay.
I'm so excited about today.
It's gonna
And
be
my
fun.
whole goal from today, my intention that I'm setting forward, is that everyone who watches today's video is super successful at this painting.
Gotcha. Now,
That's my hope and intention. I'm going to put out a little burnt sienna.
on our scale of 1 to 3, how difficult is this?
So this is for beginners, but I would say this is a 3 hoot for beginners. And when I talk about the hoot scale, what I'm really saying is like there are different stages of beginners. There's 3 levels of beginners. And when you're brand new to painting, you haven't picked up paint crayon in forever, I would say you're a 1 hoot painter. If you're new at painting, but you painted a couple and you kind of understand what dry brushing is and a little color mixing, you're a 2 hoot painter. If you're really new and you're not doing a lot of original stuff yet, but you've got some art skills under your belt, you're a 3 hoot painter.
Yeah.
1 hoot painters can always learn from 3 hoot paintings. The result isn't the most important part of your art journey, believe it or not. It's whether you're learning new art skills, which you're always going to learn in every project. I'm going to take my burnt sienna. You could do burnt umber too. Brown tends to be a little transparent. And I'm going to kind of sketch in my piece. And so the first thing I'm going to say is I have a horizon line. Where's my T-square, John?
Oh, I do not know.
I do not know either. All right.
I know where. Bing, bang, batat. What? There you go. Whoosh.
So I've got to sit there and be
You
like,
need to make a. Do you need a T-square?
it would help me, but I'm going to try to eyeball it in. So what it is, the reason I like a T-square is the more level your horizon line is, the better your water line will look. But what I am doing right here is setting in my horizon. I'm good. Yeah, believe it or not, paper towels work really well. So they square these when they cut them, and you can fold them in half if you don't have a T-square. When I'm traveling, I use these. And that way, see, you can use them to square up on your canvas.
Although it'd probably be easier if you didn't have to fight gravity.
It would. I'm not that far off.
No, not at all.
So, you know, you can just use the paper towel to help make sure you have a nice level line. Is generally what it is. You want a level line. Water tends to level.
Now, we've had a really, really big crowd of people here who are ready to come do this. So, you know, we've got over 530 people here hanging out with us.
530 people are going to win at art today.
Yes.
Today's the day you win at art.
Yes. And
Doesn't matter what's come before. Today's your win day.
I hope we get to see 532 different paintings posted up is what I hope we get to see.
So what I'm going to do here is I know that I've got a lot of sea foam that happens right here in this lower corner, and I need to give myself some room to shade it and do it. And I've got a wave that's coming up in an angle up this way. Now, it's actually, the wave does this interesting thing. If you come over from the right-hand side, it's going to come back, and it comes forward and comes back, and then it does this little backwards thing, right? Where it's like, I'm going to be a wave, but I have to be foreshortened, guys. That's
A
what
foreshortened wave.
I'm going to be a pain about this. And then there's some dark spot. And everything here is, interestingly enough, going to be sand. Now, I'm going to be crazy.
Again?
Always.
And to what do we owe this craziness?
Today's craziness is brought to you by the letter C. No,
For crazy?
I'm just watching my horizon line here. And then we know we have a bunch of trees. We don't need to worry about that. And everything above here is sky. But what's nice if I get my sand in now, right? It's going to let me create the layering I need to create. We're going to, of course, put a traceable up after this.
Okay.
So I'm going to get, this is a number 8. This is from my new Sherpa Red line. You can use any number 8 bright you have. And I'm going to, I think I will start with a dark base on my sand. So how I'm going to get that is I'm going to put out a little of my phthalo blue. All right. I'm going to take a smidge. See, I'm coming from this outer edge here. And I'm going to make my brown richer. Now, a lot of people might organically want to go to their black, but we're going to deepen this color, this value, this way. I'll be putting out more and more colors in a minute. There's no point to crowd the palette early. I'm going to just paint all of this in with this dark color to start. Now, how this picture was made, and trust me, this picture was made.
What do you mean by that? It was made.
Some photographer went to a location, took a picture during the daytime.
Okay.
You know this. You do photography.
Well,
took a picture during the daytime.
Yeah.
He's being so funny. And then they took a picture at night. And then they took several pictures of sky. And got a really good moon pic. And they photoshopped all of those together. And that's how they created this fantasy landscape. So this was a really interesting one everybody picked, because while it's a real location, it's not a real time of day. I know this particular trick because John used to do this in his photography, where he would take a day pic and a night pic to get some of those high contrast desert pics.
Now, I would have to say that if the moon were ever that close,
We would all be dying.
we would be in trouble.
Probably.
But if you were taking that with a hyper zoom lens, then it wouldn't be such a big deal.
Wouldn't be such a big deal. I'm going to put out some of my other colors. What did I forget? You know what I forgot was
don't
my
know.
yellow ochre, baby.
You need some yellow ochre?
I do. I didn't grab it.
Is it the same yellow ochre that disappeared from the palette the other day?
No, that was Indian yellow, which I have the tube here, but I don't have the ochre. It's going to be over there in that tub. Any of the ochres will work. Right here in the green. Green. Okay. Well, I'm just trying to point to it. I do this on live shows. If you guys know. Yeah. Ochre, oxide, any of the ochre. Anybody? Basically what I'm talking about is this gold brown. All the colors and everything you need to know is in the description below, including links to the traceable. Okay, so we're going to want that. Believe it or not, I'm going to do an interesting thing here.
Actually, those are two of my favorite colors, aren't they?
Yep. I'm going to put out a little of my Alizarine purple because that grays.
Dude, Diox purple
I'm
gets
going to put out a little of this Indian yellow. You use yellow deep. If you don't have yellow deep or Indian yellow and all you have is cad yellow, guess what? Paint it anyways.
Now, I'm just curious if everybody else feels the same way. Does Diox purple get on everything? It's like when you open the container, it just crawls out and touches
So many
everything
feelings
and
about it.
contaminates. It's like
I need to move my water glass way away from my paint area.
I think that Diox purple actually is a mutant mind of its own that just
These sponges. Right? And this is going to come in. We're going to first put in a texture with our sponge, and then, believe it or not, we're going to glaze the values and the shadows in. But first we have to create the texture. So I'm going to take a little of my yellow ochre that you see here. Let's put out some white too. So we can lighten and darken our progeny, our beach here. Right? And I'm going to get some of the brown that I mixed over here. And you might want to add some white. Now the trick with sponges is, see how that got that spot there?
Mm-hmm.
You don't want spots on your sponges because then they'll leave little dots. And whenever anyone's having a real problem with their sponge, it's the dot. There's a little spot of dot of pure pigment that's just smidgeting.
Ah.
I'm going to come here and I'm going to stamp a layer of sand texture.
Mm-hmm.
See that?
Yeah.
Little bit of sand on the beach, texturing it up. And you can see I'm just trying to avoid my dots.
Mm-hmm.
Just give it some sand texture.
It does look very sandy.
Now, could you spend the time with a small brush very carefully filling in this area with little dots? You absolutely could. If you wanted to do that very badly.
You could pointillism it up.
You could pointillism it up. I'm going to add a little Indian yellow to this mix. And a little white.
Ooh, what do you use to crimp your paint tubes?
Where did it go? It's, oh, see, this is where I can't.
You can't get it
Without smidging paint.
No, you can't. So I'll have to get it later. Here it is. Yeah, that's that thing. It's a paint crimper tube device. That probably doesn't help. What it is it's a paint tube crimper, and it has a roller gizmo in it where you put the paint tube in there, and it works for both plastic and metal tubes. And as you roll it, it squeezes the paint from the back of the tube up to the front.
Yeah.
And
yeah. Now I'm going to take my blue and my burnt sienna. I'm going to make a darker color. Rinse that out. You could have mixed that with a palette knife too. And get that on here. Right? See how that's nice and darker?
Mm-hmm. I don't know if you were a kid, if you remember moving and having welcome wagon come. I remember they came with little paint roller tube things for your toothpaste.
They did.
And I always was like, man.
Did a Tuscasita have a welcome wagon?
Oh yeah.
Oh, cool.
That was just, I remember that as a kid getting those, and then then you got them again through Avon.
See, there's a bit of paint that wanted to get on and be a spot, but I said you can't be a spot. I'm getting some brown. Notice that I'm just layering.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to be doing values, right? Later, but this gives us this texture to work from. And your choice is on the texture. I'm taking this brown and just dusting the edge. See that?
Yeah.
Just around the edge here. It's darker, darker, darker color. And another, you can rinse out if you've got too many colors on your sponge. This is not good for your manicure, but it is good for your painting experience. I'm still not done. Sand is busy, busy, biz.
Well,
I've got some, you can use some black paint here. This is just black gesso.
Well, hold, before we go on too farther, give me just a minute here. Have a little sippy sip because it looks like we may be having a little bit of stream issue. I want to give it a...
Oh, not on this one.
It's just one of those things that
Not
happens.
on this one.
So we're going to fix it real quick.
Okay.
And we know how to do that now. So if you give me just a moment, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, everybody just...
If ever anything happens, what we do is we re-record and re-upload.
We do.
We
we make sure.
never leave you guys hanging on a lesson that you want, ever.
No. So give me just a minute. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go pause. Oh, wait, no, it's back. There it goes. See, I didn't even need to do it. I just had to give it a minute.
You had to know you were coming for it. You Fonzied it.
Maybe I did. I don't know. Or maybe it's probably as soon as I say that I did, it's going to break. So I'm going to say no. I was very, very respectful and appreciative that the
where
stream
it was at.
Was ready to come back and work.
I'm taking a little black over to my
we have
yellow ochre. Look at me going.
It's unbelievable. We have over 580 people here hanging out with us. They're really enjoying this. So
I'm going to get a little white on this, but don't let that little dot happen. See how I get
okay.
rid of that dot? I stamp it out. If you've been feeling really frustrated, stamping out your dots is very helpful.
Okay.
Not enough pigment. The sponge wanted all the pigment. Sponge said yum.
Okay.
Sponge said yum. 1 want a yellow black, not a black black. All right, there we go. Let's see if Sponge can handle it this time. Sponge, do you got this?
Mm-hmm.
Sponge says, yeah, I got it. So these are just these layers that we are putting in, right? And you got to put them in. Let's get some more of the light layer. Everything is still wet. If you push in and move, and I'll show you here because I can kind of paint it out. See how I smeared?
Oh, yeah.
That's going to take out all of your sand texture that you're trying to have.
You want to make sure you're very, very just like dab, 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 dab. Not dab,
Now,
move.
see, it's smeared there.
See, I saw. We could just went. Shh.
That's what happens to it.
That's cool.
Get some more yellow ochre. And this is what you would do. Making this just another way to do this. We've done this in other places, haven't we?
Yeah.
We've done this kind of background to make a copper patina.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
We did it a little bit on that really simple wave on the beach that I have.
Mm-hmm.
So see, it's just about how far you want to take an effect. Right? How far do you want to take that effect? And I'm pretty happy with that there. Definitely rinse out your sea sponges, because if you do, they'll last a really long time. And this is going to be one of those lessons we may be changing water a bit often.
Yeah. We may actually have to reheat your coffee.
I don't have coffee. We're out of creamer.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. That's what it was. I'm such
Poor
a bad
Sherpa
husband.
has no coffee. So abused. So abused. It's okay.
Have tea?
I will survive. Now, right here, there's this beautiful keyhole of light, right? And the thing is that our yellows can be so transparent that it's real easy to lose them. So we're going to use wet into wet, we're going to use glazing, and we're going to use the order in which we paint things to keep that section of our painting bright and not getting muddy. So I'm going to put out my reds.
Oh.
So I'm going to put out my Cad Red Light. I get asked a lot, why do I paint with real cadmium? And the reason is, and I don't know if the camera can ever see it, but real cadmium is luminous. And I have just made a commitment to not eat it or breathe it. And so therefore...
They feel for their lack of creamer. They're like, oh no.
It's terrible.
No, are we
So I'm going to take a little of my Cad Red Light over to my Indian Yellow and get a little white.
Now, are we going to hang out in Sherpa chat on the site after the show?
Yes, after the show, if you, we're going to go immediately after we're done. We'll go to the website, artsherpa.com. We'll go to the Red Room. I will chat for about 20 minutes after the show, just in case there was a question that they happen. Sometimes I don't see the chat, and so sometimes questions happen that I don't get to see. Now, I want to make sure that I'm very focal here.
Okay.
So I'm coming to this left third, up from my horizon line. That looks like about a couple inches. And I'm just going to dab in this color. Not even getting into my cloud brushes yet over here. This is so bright, right?
Yeah.
We just want this bright, bright color. And this is going to be about putting in these bright, bright colors so that they feel real and authentic. Okay? These kinds of sunsets, I think, are a joy to do. Now, I'm going to do a thing here. I'm going to offload my paint, which means press it out of my brush. Grab a little of this yellow. Maybe even a little white.
Oh, and they love
And you know what? I'm going to treat myself to some zinc white. Why do we have zinc white? Landscapes.
Okay, so can you explain why that is?
Okay, so zinc white is not just a transparent white. This white has a massively heavy pigment load and can cloud out or diminish the color in paintings.
It's very opaque.
It's very opaque. The zinc white does not do it as much. So let's see if I can show you side by side. I don't know if that's interesting to everybody.
Yeah, very.
So if I take my yellow and my titanium white, right, you can see the color that I'm getting. It's very opaque. It's like a little ducky. It's a nice shade. I'm not unhappy with that. Rinse, 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 rinse. But if you take your yellow and your zinc white, not only is it more transparent, it is also more yellow.
Gotcha.
Be very important in landscape painting, where you're trying to retain elements of the color. I'm going to come right here in the center of the keyhole of this cloud, because there is just this little patch. If we were doing this in pastels, we would really be paying attention to that.
Now,
This color right here,
so
very important.
So speaking of pastels, if you were going to be doing like a Mediterranean or Grecian picture,
Yes.
you'd be using more of those brighter colors, huh?
Well, I mean, you just look at what your reference is and just pay. For all we know, this was taken there.
I guess that's true. I guess you could, because that's just how they constructed the color palette here. Yeah. So this could be right
I'm
on
going
the.
to take my CAD and my CADs and CADs. CADs and CADs.
Oh my gosh! I have to say, welcome to everyone. Do we have over 600 people here with us today?
We're going to take this out. Do we really? I hope you guys are all painting. I hope you guys are all keyholing and going, I got this. I got this.
Well, I'm going to give you some bubbles because you deserve some bubbles.
I deserve some bubbles, baby. I'm pulling this back here. I'm probably going to have to paint it back out. I'm just trying to make sure that I'm retaining some of what I'm hoping to have. I'm going to grab a little yellow, and I'm going to work this in here. These are subtle things, but you guys picked this picture for a reason, and I want to show you how to get it. Right?
I'm excited about it.
For a reason. And I want to make sure you can get it. I'm going to rinse this out. Now, I vacillated on the Alizarine Crimson or not, but this area...
Which area?
Okay, here we go. This area was so deep and so cool that I didn't want to trust that my Dogsing Purple was going to get me the color I wanted. So I got the Alizarine Crimson to hedge my bets. Did I just put paint all over my desk?
That would be the best live.
It really would. So I might take a smidge, a scotch of my Dogsing to my Alizarine Crimson, and you can honestly even put a little CAD into your Alizarine Crimson.
Man, I'm afraid of the diox. It's like powerful.
It is. Oh, yes, perfect. So that was a good hedge of my bet. I hedged my bet correctly. And I am just following. I treat my piece like a puzzle sometimes, and I'm just like, what's happening in my puzzle? Right? What's happening in my puzzle, man? If you need to get your... See how the zinc white lightens it, but doesn't pink it as much? Look at that.
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't pink it out. So I can add the zinc white to my red to change the value without changing, you know, the hue. It's a weird deal, but I really like it. Helps me out a lot. You know, and I know I have a lot of this color coming over here. I'm going to have to layer. There's no way I'm getting out of layers. Right? I'm getting away with a lot because my brush is super stiff. Right? See, I'm just working that in. I'm just wanting to put that paint in. Now, and I did find a couple nice hacks for this painting. One being that I'm going to darken my, instead of darkening with my Dogsing or my Phthalo, I'm darkening with my Alizarine here. See? And then it doesn't gray out. It's still very vibrant. Because I don't want to gray it out. The whole point of doing this was that it had these patches of just rich color.
It really looks cool how it just kind of goes in there like that, creates those layers.
Yeah, we got to layer it up, man.
I'm just like, wow.
I'm having fun. You just trust yourself. I'm going to put out some of my glazing liquid. And I'm also going to mist my palette because my studio is hot.
Is it?
It is so
Do I need to put the air conditioner on?
What is going on here?
I can turn the air conditioner on. Oh, they love your necklace, by the way. They think the TARDIS necklace is very nice.
Thank
and they
you.
think you look very nice today.
Thank you. I appreciate it, you guys. How you doing?
We have a lot of people, and they're very excited about the after. How did they say the after show is what they said. Thank you for doing the after show chat, and I was like, oh, that's a good way.
It's needed because sometimes the chat goes by so fast. You know, I don't see the chat at all during the live because if I do, I stop teaching the painting.
She does. It's like
Sad.
a laser pointer in front of a cat. You can just if I put them up there, she just stops. Everything in the world stops.
I haven't rinsed out my brush, and I'm into my Dogsing Purple, and I'm getting this. And see how dark that is?
Mm-hmm.
I need to keep this light enough in the reds, though, that when I put my silhouette over it, they're still going to show. So I'm going to have to retain a little area to lighten it back up. And also this cloud bank kind of travels through here. This is going to be really fun as we go through. It's a really fun sky.
We still haven't found the Indian yellow, though, have we?
Where it went?
Yeah.
No, it
disappeared.
just disappeared. See, I'm just pushing this along here. I'm just saying, hey.
We had some. She put some Indian yellow on our palette yesterday, last broadcast, in the live, and we just disappeared. Like
Just
it
gone.
was gone.
It's all good.
We couldn't find it. We still
I'm
can't
dipping
find it.
in water to just improve the fluidity of my paint. I haven't done the glaze because I don't want to thin it yet. Get a little of my ducks. Smidge it in here. And I just know that as I'm coming up here, I've got to lift, because we're going to come back with a light value along this strip again. So see, that's what we're doing, is we're just looking for, where is my dark? Where are my lights? Where am I telling my story? Where can I glaze? Like, this is a great area to glaze, which means I'm going to take my glazing medium and my pigment, leaving little deposits of this dark, like we're seeing in the sky. You know, I can come with another brush that's smaller. I can hedge that out a little bit. Because and I'm pressing this in. We're working those elements.
I missed this earlier, but you could use a household sponge instead of the little sea sponge that you
It's
use.
harder to do because you have to make it in a regular shape. But as long as you're up for taking the time to like pull out little bits and make it kind of a weird shape, yeah, you totally can do it.
You just have to be careful because it can make regular patterns more easily.
More easily, but it all depends on your prep. Now I've pulled some paint off my brush and I'm pulling this into my yellow, and that's where I'm going to get my glow into that part of the sky. See?
Mm-hmm.
Where the purple and the yellow are glowing through each other. That stuff happens. Now, for just a second, I'm going to put this aside, and I'm going to get my clouding brush, because it's going to help me scumble.
What is a clouding brush?
So this is this brush. This is my ArtSherpa Cloud. This is a domed scumbling brush, and basically what I like about this is it has a very particular rounded curve. The length out from the ferrule gives me a really bunch of opportunities to scumble my world.
So if
which
you
is to do drab brushy little bits.
if you didn't have one of these, could you use like an old brush?
If you watch, one of the reasons I did all my do's and don't clouds, just a regular brush, is that you guys knew that your fingers, your bristles, the clouds are really about the technique. And I don't want you to ever feel you have to have a tool to do a technique.
This just makes it easier.
And those do's and don'ts are super short too.
But this does make it like this is like a magic trick though.
That helps me a lot.
Yeah, I mean, like this is the brush does your brush does make a difference.
It has been. Put a little glaze on here, and I'm going to start putting in this little blending up of my little sky. This is going to glaze in, but the only way to get this out is to just sort of start talking about this, right? And see how that does that for me?
Yeah.
Starts to tell me these little glazing stories. This one kind of comes up here, and yeah, there we go. It just lets me do this just a smidge easier. But you could do this again with just anything. Oh, there's a distant bit. Let's get some zinc. Distant here. I'm going to get some more zinc. And we know we're going to be coming back with some layers, right? Like you do.
Like you do.
I'm going to grab some of this right here. That's very interesting. And see, we can just work that in. Now, through here, definitely. I'm going to scumble this all in. Maybe a little more of the cad red, my cad yellow. Scumbly, scumbly. This sky is a joy, a joy, a joy. A joy, a joy, a joy, a joy. Love my scumble. Scumble, scumble, scumble.
Now is that the real word, scumble?
Scumble.
Scumble.
It's the real word.
What was the
Nobody
one-
needs to have a whole little heart attack.
No, what's the other one? You
I sometimes say scrumble, and I
Scrumble,
guess
I
they're
guess.
interchangeable, but there's some purists that get really strong feels over it, so I just don't want to upset them because
Okay.
they really need to be painting rather than worrying about how I say scumble.
probably.
So I'm just being more
But-
careful so they can enjoy their painting and not
but would you just
take time to diverge and worry about grammar.
Well, I mean, maybe there one could argue that we were if we were trying to say teach scumbling, that it would be important to tell people that we were teaching them scumbling.
Well, no, except scumble and scrumble are the same thing. It's just,
Oh, that's true.
you know what I
guess
mean? Some people, it's just, everybody's got a feel.
I have a feel.
All right, so I'm just pulling this up, and I'm just making sure. See how we're just working this down through here now?
Oh yeah.
We are telling the story. We're not even pulling punches anymore. We're not pulling no punches. Look at us not pulling no punches. And now it's just starting to
It's really getting that kind of magical layery thing.
magical layery thing. I see a magical little. It'll show through here. You want the magical little layers? You got to put them in. And we'll be back with some of these weird colors in a second.
So how
I'm
do you
going to
know?
probably need 2 fresh waters if I can, John.
Now, let me ask you something. It looks like you're lighting the bottom part of the reddish part of the clouds there that you haven't yet put in. What are you?
Oh, in this area?
Yeah.
So the turquoise is going to come down into this, and it grays out in layers through here. I've got to get this in early and glaze through it to keep the luminosity that we... So what happens is everybody picked a picture that one was created digitally, where the color saturation was altered, and obviously on a computer screen is luminous rather than reflective.
So I guess what everyone's
So how I choose to paint that, how I choose to
Yeah.
translate all those things that you guys have emotionally attached to, so you can have a painting where you're like, yes,
so
yes. I
get-
need fresh water.
I'll
babe.
get fresh water, but if you could explain why you're putting those colors in early and how you selected those.
Okay. So these warm, bright, light colors are transparent and very bright. I'm about to come in with a bunch of their contrast, which is the phthalo green, which can gray things out. And I want to have control over how they gray. By laying them in first, I have the option to glaze and dry brush over the top, therefore retaining some of their luminosity. A lot of ways to get here. This is just sort of how I might break down that thing. I'm also going to show you how this turned out to be the perfect size of the moon that we had. So, you know, everything is sort of like not right or wrong. It's just how you want to get through a painting, right? How are you getting through it? If the technique is effective, it's good. If the technique is not effective for you, then let it go or work on the technique. I'm changing these out because one of the things that can cause a very bright, colorful painting to not feel luminous is gray water. Okay, yeah.
Gray water.
Gray water. All right, let's get into our phthalo turquoise, which is one of my favorite colors, which you can buy phthalo turquoise.
I'm sounding far away.
Phthalo turquoise is more blue. Phthalo teal is more green.
Okay.
Phthalo, and both will be fine. Let me treat myself too. Where did they go? Where'd they go?
I don't know. What are you looking for?
My palette. There it is.
Oh.
My palette knives to mix my. I'm just, I get to treat myself to stuff. So I'm going to take this out here, and I'm going to get a little of my green. I'm going to mix these together, and that's going to make phthalo turquoise. Now, in my assessment, this sky is much greener than blue, as is the water. So we're going to be a little more, I guess, phthalo teal today. Let's see how we did when we go to paint it. And we're probably going to need to put out more, and I'm doing this with my palette knife because it just makes it easier mixing those two colors together. But I'm going to make sure I have a little blue and a little green to the side. I got my white here, and I better miss my palette again. I'm glad I put my water in containment.
And they would like you to know, just so you know out here, that there are like over 650 people hanging out here with us. And they were like, they needed to see a Thank you guys for coming and hanging out with us. Because
Oh yeah, we
certainly,
are dorky up in here.
Yeah, we like to do this. And so thank you guys for coming and hanging out with us. We love to see you guys and, dance with us, for having this big old party of people
Because you're a
with us.
Sherpazoid, right?
You are a Sherpazoid if you're here with us today, for
And
sure.
you're dancing.
When you're dancing.
You can avoid being a Sherpazoid by not dancing.
No, just don't dance.
Just don't dance.
Can you
just don't
resist the dance?
No.
I don't know.
So I'm going to switch out brushes here. I'm going to get a number 10 Bristlon.
Okay.
I'm going to get this wet, take off the extra water. I'm going to load this up.
Add some bubbles.
Add some bubbles. Well, I'm constantly like, don't add crazy things to your palette. I'm going to say that that's okay. And I'm going to just start. Phthalo teal, phthalo turquoise tends to be a little transparent. And so you may be a couple layers, right, in your world. And then I've got to figure out also how to gray it.
Mm-hmm.
How I want to darken and deepen and gray it. But first I want to get this in, because this is going to create that feeling that I'm getting from my luminosity. Also, I knew I'd want to be able to see both. So I made sure. I had it on my phone.
You have multiple points of
No,
reference.
you cannot reference your stuff enough.
Yeah.
People are like, it's cheating to use references. Okay, so I'll go just tell Michelangelo to knock it off. Shame on you.
For being so awesome.
Yeah. So I've got my phthalo blue, my phthalo green, and I think I'm going to guess here, it's really not much of a guess, I'm going to get into my alizarin and say that that's a beautiful way to darken the sky. Look at that.
Yes.
Oh yeah, it's so nice. Having a good time. Phthalo blue.
Mm-hmm.
Phthalo green.
There's a lot of phthalo going around.
Phthalo, phthalo. And a little Alizarine Crimson. Need glaze? Use your glaze. I'm just going to continue doing this. Now, and there's this light patch here too, so I'm going to offload my brush for just a second and get my zinc on here. And just make sure that right here I don't forget to put in a light patch. And I may be back and back again.
Mm-hmm.
If I have to wipe off my brush and just get my zinc, I will do that. Just lightening it up. There we go. Just giving that keyhole of lighter thoughts, and you can go right over that. That could glaze because that was distant. There we go. So it's just there we go. These were distant colors. So they're just peeking through. So now we're making that peek through.
I do.
And we can always come back if we feel like we lost it, if our paint was too opaque, whatever was happening, if we didn't like it.
You can just touch it up.
Yeah, you can always get it back. You can always get it back. You know. And then there's an interesting thing as we're coming through here, we have almost this mix of the two colors. It's so fascinating that are graying right here. Look at that, and we just nailed it. So a lot of times when you see in a sky that there's this weird color and it feels like it's grayed and it feels like it's the two colors, but when you go to mix it, it's just about controlling those contrasts to each other.
Interesting.
Glaze.
So how do you know,
Glaze.
Brittany was asking,
Hi, Brittany. How are you doing?
what do you do when you're too scared to keep going and ruin the piece? Or does that happen to you?
So it used to happen to me. I think it happens to all artists because there's a succeed or fail component that we think art has.
Mm-hmm.
You know? I succeeded at this painting or I failed at this painting based on an arbitrary goal that I create in my head and heart.
Right.
Right? Sometimes people around me contribute to that arbitrary goal in my head and heart
Mm-hmm.
with opinions of what they think is a completed successful painting. And so I have all of this expectation now suddenly that's sort of in the ether, and I'm also on my art journey. And sometimes in an art journey, skills come together and they lock together and they create something that meets that goal. And sometimes you're processing those skills out and you may or may not meet this arbitrary goal. And then you'll decide, oh, I failed at that painting, completely missing the part that you were learning new skills and the result's not important.
Right.
Right? Like if you're trying to learn how to do these kinds of crazy, complicated skies, the only way you're going to do it is to practice them. And some of those practices may not reach your arbitrary goal of awesome.
Huh.
But you were awesome because you learned those skills. So it's like, not everything needs to be shared on social media generally. I'm like, because sometimes I'm like, yeah, I did okay, but maybe it's not what I would share. That's fine. It doesn't mean I didn't get, I'm going to get right in there and get that little zinc white, and that's what you just got to realize is that you've got a lot going on internally when you're first painting. You have no idea how much. It's crazy. It's like a lot.
It's a lot of work that you go through. Personal work, just getting ready to be shown and showing stuff to people. It's a lot.
I think a lot of times they're like, you should do some art therapy. Like really kind of arbitrarily, like, and not with any of the like support thing. Like, and it's going to be a really interesting journey.
It's a lot
See,
of
I'm going to
personal
come
growth
back
in art.
and marry these two things together with another layer. But just, and remember with acrylics, so like in oils, you've got to much more lay it down and get it and then kind of work it. But with acrylic, it's about letting it dry. You can come back and keep fuddling with something and then get it there. Does that make sense?
It totally does.
All right, so let's put some more stuff in this guy that makes it even more awesomer.
Awesomer.
Well, because this is pretty transparent and see it starts, streaky, and this is going to take a little minute to do its thing.
It's going to take some layering.
Always.
Some ogering.
Well, it depends on how you're painting it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Really does just depend on how you're painting it. No wrong way to do it. Then people come up and go, there is, and you're doing it. It's the wrong. And you're like, okay. That's wonderful. I'm going to start brushing this in and creating this value, this deep value that we have in the sky. And some of the things I'm going to be paying attention to is the directionality of the clouds and mimic that in my brush stroke. Use the tools. Use your arsenal. You have an arsenal of tools that you can use to help create the story that you're trying to tell. And then you have to decide, am I telling an expressive story? Is this an expressive painting? Is this an impression painting? Is this a realistic painting? Because those are not all the same goals. Very different goals. So see how we're just pulling that in?
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of nice. So we're seeing some value, some shape, some energetic stuff to the sky. Remember, you can soften edges with your glazing medium.
Huh.
This is going to end up being a very dark corner over here when it's all said and done. We've got this sort of like interesting green. It's happening around the moon. We might as well put some of that in now since we know it's coming later.
It's so neat how it just layers right on there.
I just keep layering. It'll find its way through. I don't even stress.
And you're just adding that green tint that's kind of
I'm having a nice relax, and I'm going to paint a really brilliant painting today, and hopefully some of you guys will join me in that journey, and we're going to be like, later we're going to be like, because we awesome. We did what was important to us. All right, I'm going to continue Continue to work through some of this and get some clouds in. Where's my clouding brush?
Yeah, we have a lot of new people, a lot of new
Do we?
moms, a lot of new little brushes.
New little brushes.
Uh-huh.
Guys, I have some really good short projects. We have some projects that are 10 minutes long, so, you know, complete. No, it's like not even a fast forwarding thing. All levels of beginning. Because beginning, even if you're like, I'm not doing a stick figure today, there's no way.
Yeah.
Ask some people around here because they're going to look back and go, oh no, I was stick figure last year and I'm rocking it now. So just know that it doesn't really matter where you are on the journey. It just matters if you've decided to actively be on it in some way. I'm going to grab my alizarin here. Maybe a little dog's ink because that's what I'm enjoying. And I'm going to just take a little scumbling of this darker value. A lot of people don't know at sunsets a huge amount of the clouds are in shadow. We just did that thing on how to paint better colorful clouds. Yeah, much simpler cloudscape than this. But still some similar principles, right? So I want to talk about some of these little scumbled little cloud shapes. Let's go right here. I have a dark little cloud shape right here. I could actually get a little more even. This is going to be crazy. My brush is dirty, and I'm just going to put the blue on it. And it's going to make this great sort of dark cloud. Let's get kind of a crazy little shape here.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's there. And he's got a little friend. I'm going to leave some of my yellow. Because we don't want to... And if this one is too big, guess what? They come in sizes. So I'm going to put some on here, make some smaller bits. I was so excited I got to do these in sizes. But you can use a little square bristle brush.
Yeah.
You know, if it's more purple and red, as you get down into here, take it into more purple and red values. The point is just know.
Don't bonk microphones.
Don't bump microphones. By the way, these are really resilient with the paint as it's on them, so it gives you a minute. You don't have to be like really precious with them, which is nice. And I'm just doing some of these little shadows that are here. Nice to get the little shadows in, right?
Yeah.
Because they're part of this sort of shadowing.
We were just talking about that, about clouds in the sky yesterday when
Yep.
we were driving to get coffee.
We were talking about when we're driving to get coffee.
We talk about painting clouds a lot.
A lot.
I don't paint clouds, but I do like looking at clouds.
You
and
do.
taking pictures of clouds sometimes, but mostly just looking at clouds. I like convertible cars, so I have lots of clouds.
So there's a dark shape that's here. It's distant. It's soft, right? Look at that.
Now it's starting to get some shape to it there.
Yeah, it's amazing when it starts to pull together. I always feel like BG. I love it when a plane comes together. Ooh, dating myself. That's cool, though. Choo, choo, choo.
The
Lighten a
phthalos.
spot there, I think, in a different way. And I'm going to take this and definitely darken that up. And yeah, I'm going to have a moon over that and another bank in front of that, but it helps. It's going to help to have this area as dark as it is. Oh, I like that.
Oh, yeah.
I like it.
It's looking nice. Starting to have all those tonalities to them.
It is starting. I'm going to grab some zinc. It is starting to have some tonality.
What is going on today? Trix is growling at me?
She went out.
I don't know what she's doing. Is that what it is?
I think so. When she feels like we're not paying attention, she gives you the, I'm going to get some more zinc.
Yeah, that's her.
You are doing some other thing than what you're supposed to be doing, and I'm feeling very, very, very particular about it. Just working this around. So a lot of times one feels like these just aren't doable, but if someone just explains the layers, they're super doable. You know, and you might have your own way getting through it, and that's fine. I have my way of getting through it. I like my way. You might like your way. It's all, oh, look at that glow.
It just, yeah.
Pat self on back. Pat self on back. Now,
it is looking super spectacular today.
There's a couple stars up here, and we have a splatter brush, right?
Mm-hmm.
But we also have our dotting tool, because sometimes one doesn't want to have splatters.
Too much splatter.
Right?
You could just have some controlled dottiness.
So this is a dotting tool, right? It has two sides. If you didn't have one of these around, you'd probably go grab a toothpick. Just like,
you could, yeah.
Well, here's what's happened to me. The
Back to your
reason
brush,
I have
maybe?
so many alternative suggestions, I'm putting a couple stars here and there. The reason I have so many suggestions about alternatives that one could have, I'm just duplicating the star pattern we have in our picture, is that I have been places painting and forgotten a tool. And then had to be like, so even though I'm like, oh, never add soap to water, it doesn't mean I haven't like had to add a drop of, you know, glycerin to water once or twice just to have flow. Now, I feel like it is what's in the photograph, but as I'm looking at on my painting, I'm feeling like I want it to be a little more random than that, and I'm going to do something. You can be right here, and that's cool. I'm going to go a little crazy.
Ooh.
I'm going to take the smallest amount of this on my splattering brush. And I'm going to come here, and I'm going to be very close to the canvas because I want control over where these things go. I'm going to put this because the way this landscape was cobbled together, I'm just thinking this will be nice. I just want it to have a better field of stars.
Yeah.
Up here.
A deeper field of stars. Yeah,
that's just me. You can be like, no, man, don't start up. That's where it all goes wrong. I'm like good, and then the spatter brush comes out, and then I'm not good. Look at that. Okay. I don't like to leave these little splatter brushes in water because the Sherpa white filament goes right into the wood, and it, you know, would crack it definitely. Okay, so we've got that. I'm actually happy with that. That's more in my preference of what I would like. You might just want to hand dot and be like dot, 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 dot. No, I just want dots. Now I'm going to put in my cloud shapes. I'm going to get my small clouding brush, right? And I'm going to mix up, I love all my tools, but I don't know where any of them ever are. Some more of my Phthalo Turquoise, which is my blue and my green, like you do. So I have a nice little amount of it there. I'm going to be doing it all in the water, so it's not like I can't have a bit of it. Now, if you look in the picture, actually, when they did the Photoshop, like they had a little trouble with the layering of the clouds and everything. So I'm going to correct what they did a little bit so that that's not in my painting, because that will look crazy in my painting. I have to put a bank of clouds behind, even if I'm fading the moon here. It just won't look right in the art. So I'm going to get a little of this color on my brush. And it seems a little moist, so I'm going to definitely wipe it off my towel. I'm going to get, now this time, the titanium white, because I do want a white. I might even add a smidge of the Indian yellow to this. Yep, that's it. That's the glow I'm looking for. This is the glow I'm looking for. And if I were to put my moon here, hopefully I can see this so I know what the heck I'm doing. Yeah, I can see it.
Putting
You
some
can't
moon
see it.
stuff in there.
I just want to know where it is.
Okay.
I'm going to start to tell the story of this cloud outline. going to head up. It's going to head down. Down. And then there's this little sort of diamond shape out this way. It's going to come back. Putting the outline in first.
Someone had the idea. I think it's S.K. Kirker. S. Kirker. She was saying you should do it with an electric toothbrush.
I actually looked at those as painting tools just to see what do I think of them as painting tools.
That would be a power splatterer.
Yeah.
You'd have to. That'd be one of those tools you'd have to master. Like really.
I'm just gonna bring some of this down. I'm just trying to tell some of the story of these little renegades up here. Right? Because you've got these little renegades.
Now,
renegades, just a little runaway.
Tonya was asking, am I remembering correctly that Indian yellow and Australian sienna are interchangeable?
You are remembering correctly, as is Southern Ocean blue and phthalo turquoise.
Ooh.
Look at you. Just adding a little of this here. Okay. So once I have that, I can put in my dark value, right? I can sit there and add a little of my alizarin over here to my phthalo turquoise and make my dark color. If I need to, I can put some dogs in there, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not using black paint because black paint is awesome, but that's just not the right choice here. But I want to use a color that reads as black to my eye. All right. I'm going to just come in here and very carefully make a light cloud shape and see how the outline then is preserved. Preserving the outline. Just want to preserve some of that, right?
Mm-hmm.
How's that? Oh, loving it! It's fun stuff. Have fun.
I like the clouds coming there. That was one of the things that I always liked is how when clouds are lit on the opposite side from where you're standing, so that they're backlit luminous.
Mm-hmm.
So that makes them all. It makes them have a silver lining, or in this case, a creepy green-blue lining.
Now, I'm going to, just real quick, I want to kind of see my moon in this space, and I'm going to get right into my kind of weird color here, and I'm going to just, I know this is going to be faded back. Thinking about that fade, see? Now we're thinking about it. Now we're thinking about it. The moon is a very important part of this picture. And if you have a moon lover in your life, they're going to care so much. You have no idea. You can't just phone that in. Some stuff in your art you can just phone in. I could say that this painting was like, this is the end of the world painting. I'm just liking that, like, yeah, I threw that down. I put up a picture and then I like painted it.
Well, give me just a second here right now because we're having a little buffering issue.
Not on this one.
Oh, well, you know, even if we have a buffering issue, we can solve it.
That's right. I just panic every time.
So you just
this is me panicking every time.
Yeah, so we'll just give it a moment and see. I'm going to look over at it. And
hydration. I used to have this really cool mug from Disneyland, but we got a lot of weird questions about it, so I stopped drinking it on the show. It's creating a lot of misunderstanding. Y'all know the mug I'm talking about. People be like asking me like crazy questions. I'm like, no, it just came from Disneyland. It's that guy from Fantasia.
Yeah. So I'm over here watching, and it seems like it's working itself out. I'm waiting to see if it's gonna just a second here. Oh. But you know what we're gonna do while we're waiting is I'm gonna put music on because we are like they're telling me right now they're like we're gonna quadruple Sherpa.
What is that even?
I don't even know, but that
what
means
is that even?
That means Like, you know,
Is that we like free art education?
I know, it's like
'Cause
over
I believe
650
that is
people.
pretty awesome. We should all just paint, and it should
Okay.
be fun, and we can do it together.
So while it's doing that, I'm going to fix the stream. I'm going to do my magic stream fixing. Just a moment. As we had that little intermittent... good! It says it's back now. Okay.
Is it good?
It says it's good again.
Is it good?
It says we're good now.
It says we're good. Oh, that's so
Okay.
nice. It's so nice. All right. I love this moon.
And if I see that happen, if I see that the stream gets choppy, then what I'll do is I'll fix it. I'll do my fixie thing.
You do your fixie thing?
I have magical fixing bubbles.
Magical fixing bubbles.
Now-
I'm going to use some Indian yellow on my moon.
That doesn't mean that the internet won't persist after its troubles, but we'll be able to chase them down one at a time.
I need even more glazy. Glazing is awesome. I'm going to just build this thing up, man. We're telling a story here.
Yeah.
Tell that story, man. I'm going to get some of this. So what's really nice is the Indian yellow and the Mars black. A little bit of the white. Let's see what we got here. Let's start talking about this. Let's start having a conversation.
Have a conversation with the moon.
Conversation with the moon.
I
I'm
do
like
that.
the Philly D of art,
I
man.
do
I'm
that.
going to have a conversation with my painting. Sorry.
It's not just about the painting, it's about the conversation.
Do you know how many times I've actually commented, even though I know in 35,000 comments it's going to be just gone?
And today's most requested painting of the day, let's just jump into this one.
3 people are just on the floor right now. They're like, you so nailed it. If Philly D were a painter. So I'm going to put in my 2 cents is, if you're going to paint the moon, right, in any kind of a way, it's a good idea to get a reference so you have some of the landscape. So if somebody had like memorized that, they would then know. Because there are people that do that to you. I'm not even kidding.
It's true.
They do. They're like, so totally was looking at the moon the other day, and that's wrong.
It's my moon, man. You know, I have to say.
See, I'm working just the corner of my brush here, and that's helping me get the shape I'm looking for. And as I come up here, I'm going to actually switch into my aqua, even though I'm coming on the edge here, to do the glow. Because we got the glow. I've got the glow. I feel like it's like a Power Ranger moment. Does this feel like kind of like this could be in the Power Ranger universe? I feel like it could.
Yeah, maybe.
We're not even joking. We're like, I'm not saying I'm good like Negrolayer. I'm just saying we're having a Negrolayer moment here. Like, we're really painting this moon.
You know, that's the one thing that I really, from astronomy, I took away that I really enjoyed was they encourage you to draw the sky and the moon as you observe it with the eye or through your telescope, because it really helps you learn the surfaces and things. And
I think that's true.
yeah, so if any of you who are amateur astronomers are interested in that, there's a whole interesting art form of drawing the moon, and really interesting because there's a lot more you can see there than you would think.
Then you knew.
Yep.
Layers.
Layers.
Ogres
Oh, look
are
at
like
that.
Layers.
It's deciding to do that buffering thing again. It is just being a buffering day. Let's see here. If it gets too buffery, then I'll rebuffer it.
Such a popular painting too.
And they're well. See, as long as we can fix it, they're. Oh, I got to fix the picture-in-picture too. So hold on just a second.
Okay. All right.
So let me see if it fixes. If it doesn't, because they're all waiting. They're all here. I can see.
Yeah, we
it.
got to do the high aqua.
I can
So
see
I took my Phthalo Turquoise and added some white to it. I'm going to do some high aqua at the top of the moon. The moon is this combo of this, it looks to me like a combo of this deep yellow, the Indian yellow, and black, and a high aqua. And so that's what I'm going to do together, and then I'll push the shadow back in over it. And then we should have the fairly glowing moon in our sky. Y'all loving it?
I am.
Are they loving it?
Yes, oh my gosh, they are so loving it.
Okay, thank
Yeah.
you for loving it. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, and so that it was doing a little bit of buffering. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna rebuffer it here one more time, just so.
Rebuffer it one more time. You know, man.
I'm just gonna push
Let's
this
just
button.
scream net neutrality into space. Net neutrality.
All right, we're gonna turn bubbles on, so we go between bubbles. I figure we'll go from bubbles to bubbles.
We're going to be so.
The stream, and now it says lovely. Okay, I think we are back.
Excellent.
Okay.
So I'm going to just get back into my moon.
Hold on. Get on the right. There we go. Switcher. Okay. There we go.
Back into my moon.
I know. You guys, if it goes bad, if it gets too bad, then I have to manually get the buffer to feed up. But there's a whole bunch of button pushing involved in here. I won't bore you with the details, but I can do it. It's just it takes some juggling.
Now what I'm doing is dry brushing.
Okay.
Quite a debatable technique, but I like it because it allows me to leave color where I want it with other color underneath. And the nice thing about acrylic is it is the ideal media to dry brush with. And it loves to just grip itself.
Grip itself?
Yeah. Acrylic likes to stick to acrylic like a whole bunch. If you ever tried to ship an acrylic painting, you can figure that out real fast.
I was like, grip? What is it gripping?
What's it gripping? It likes to grip itself. It just really, really likes to.
Lynn would like you to know you have over 770 likes on this.
That is crazy, y'all.
Really
I'm so
they're
glad.
really liking this. This is enjoying this. So.
You know, in some sense, it's a very simple painting. And if you guys ever pick a painting, I'm like, there's just no way beginners can do that. I would say it, but like sometimes it's just like, oh yeah, we can totally do it. We'll be there a minute. We'll be painting it. You know, it's not like one of my 2 brush strokes and then we got a painting deals, but you know. I just rinsed my brush off and I'm going to get just a little of this white, but the white is a bit dirty from the paint around it. And I'm going to just again dry brush a couple values here and around. Because I know for many of you the moon was really it for you on this picture.
Yeah, I really like the moon myself.
And I'm going to get just a little of the yellow on my brush and some more white. And just make sure that we are doing a good job. I think I'm gonna move that dark shadow up a little bit. Sometimes I'll be looking at something, I'm like, I'm gonna move you a little bit. Dark shadow. Dark shadow.
Dark shadow.
Like Batman. Like the
Or
snow painting.
Maybe Darkwing Duck.
Gotham says you gotta move your shadow. I don't trust your superpowers. You're too great for the world. Sorry. Moment here. John knows in life, I'm going to wipe this off and get some more white paint. John knows in life that I tend to talk a lot while I paint.
Yes.
I don't know if you guys do and disturb your family when you're doing it, but I know I do. And I'm spending a little time paying attention to this subject because, believe it or not, this and this are the focus of the painting in my mind.
Was that thunder?
Yes, that's not a good sign for us.
That was crazy.
I know. It's a little worrisome. Hopefully we're okay. I mean, like, guys, don't worry, we're okay. This is Houston. Like, weather that would just, like, scare the crap out of everybody else is, like, drivable here.
It's true.
But we can't handle snow, so don't feel bad.
Yeah, no. I mean, if our overpasses all freeze at the drop of, like, the temperature. As soon as because everything was designed to handle floodwater, not icy water. So, anyway.
There we go.
I digress.
You do, but that's okay. You're allowed to.
You're just into your moon.
I am, and I'm really happy with it. I'm happy with how it feels, and now I'm going to get my scumbly brush and get kind of back into my dark color again. And now I'm coming back, and I'm sort of scumbling the seam, see? Look at me go.
Yeah.
Enjoying my dark, on a dark night. There's a dark, dark moon pulling out of the clouds. Like, this is a planet destroyer. I don't know why this is such a happy painting, because, like, none of this is good news for anyone living on this beach.
The colors and the way that you're painting this reminds me of the Flash Gordon movie.
Me as well. I'm feeling a little bit of that as well, and I'm liking that. I feel like I need a little glow here. Do you ever feel like you need a little glow?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You could add some Hawkmen in the background. You could just add some Hawkmen in there if you wanted.
Not gonna, though. Mr. Let's keep it on forever. I'm trying to get like this green glow. And I'm going to have to wipe off my pigment and get my zinc, because I think that's where I'm going to find it. And I'm going to just, under here, I just want to create a bit of a more glow. All right. Look at us. Okay. So are we glowing? Yeah, we're much more glowy now.
Much more glowy.
Isn't that weird how that happens? And so this is how the black and white helps me, because then I can be like, I'm missing all my glow. Where'd my glow go? All right. We're good.
Well, this is very good.
That doesn't suck.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have this body of water right here, don't we?
Yeah.
And we have already mixed up a ton of Phthalo Turquoise.
They think they just want you to, while you're between and resting, they want you to know that we've had over 600 people and over 800 likes, and this has just been a huge crowd of people that are just really, really enjoying this day. And so I wanted to all say thank you guys for coming and hanging out with us, and thank you, Sherpa, for teaching this, and
Aww, well,
it's
so
just
happy to.
Nice to be doing it.
So happy to do it.
We even had a little spider snapping and getting along
I do
in the
have
studio.
A little spider support. He's going to kidnap this painting. I know that kid.
Yeah, the kids like to actually come in and sit and watch. They watch with little quiet chairs over here on the side. So it's kind of funny. So what are you looking at there?
I'm looking at all my colors, and I'm trying to decide where my deepest values are. No, don't go away. I need you. I need you. That's not what I need. There, you're what I need. Just making sure that I'm holding my values, because again, we had this lit in the daytime, lit in the evening issue. Oh, there it is. So, need some more Phthalo Turquoise. Pretty easy to come across, because look what I have here. Yes, we do.
And then
Tons of that.
So before we go, we'll definitely we'll get out there and have some more dance time. I know that you're. I know that you're.
You can bubble me the whole time, baby.
I can keep bubbling you. Spider wanted to come out and dance with you. Is what he wanted to do. So.
Oh, hey, buddy.
He thought it was pretty awesome. So.
You make him dance with me? You're short. I don't know anyone can see you dancing with me, but let's see. Nope. There's a lie.
So
he's been missing y'all. He loved teaching his painting.
And we've hit a big record number of people coming to hang out with us today.
Can you say thank you for everybody caring about art?
Yeah. And guys, we really do appreciate it. We love having you here in our house and our family to come paint with us, and it's just it's really nice. So we love seeing your paintings. We love seeing what you guys do. Thank you for sharing that with us. And anyway, we'll. I know this is a big painting day, so I don't want to.
This is a big painting day. We got the reason I reduced the canvas size down from 11 by 14 to the 9 by 12 is so I could show you guys how far to take the painting without making it 4 hours. So right now I'm just going to put in the base color, right? This is like my underpainting.
Ooh.
Base colors are very helpful when we're painting in the ocean.
There can never be too many bubbles for kids.
Huh?
Spider was just reminding me that there can never be too many bubbles.
There cannot. So this is nice to just do this base color right here.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Let this happen along this ocean line. Doesn't mean... I'm going to take this a little bit further, maybe here. Come back with some purple and some other stuff in a minute. How we show the shadows and everything that we've got going, because we're going to glaze and everything now, even into our sand. and into our water. But this is a layer. All right. Did I hear knocking? That would be so weird.
Oh no, there's the guys next door are putting a new roof on their little thing.
Oh, I was like, why is anyone knocking? Just trying to keep this level and pay attention to brush directionality. You know. Now it's nice while I'm letting that rest and dry, I can put in my silhouette.
Ooh.
Which I'm going to purchase that you can do with black soft body paint, which is listed, or you could do it with black gesso. Either one is fine. I'm going to get a small detail brush, and I'm just going to go through and break down my little landscape that I has here.
Ah.
So like I have a small detail brush, right? These are zeros, ones, small little round detail rounds.
Yep.
Generally you'll find these will be short-handled. Generally. They don't have to be short-handled, but generally. And I'm going to come along here while this is drying. I'm going to tell a little of the story, right? And it doesn't have to be a perfectly straight line, you know, but we definitely had a little, a little hut or umbrella, we don't know. Silhouette.
A silhouette.
Silhouette, we don't know.
No, you could do any silhouette here you wanted, really, couldn't you?
You could do any silhouette here that you wanted.
So, you know, this could be, you know, a vacation spot on the forest moon of Endor.
Yep. Highly recommended. But, you know, we're just trying to talk about the things that we're talking about. I'm going to start putting in some palms. I'll just take a little minute to put in those palms. Right, palms are fun to put in silhouette. Now you know I kind of took this maybe even a little bit lighter for painting. Because we're not backlit, I have to correct in my painting for that.
Mm.
I have to sit there and think, all right, how can I tell this story, you know, in an interesting way? Tell it true, tell it like whatever reason that, you know, everyone picked this, but also make sure that, you know, we're correcting for reflective, not luminous. Because obviously we're not. And that, I would say, is one of the big differences for digital artists over traditional painters. Is digital artists get to play with light in a different way. I'm just painting this out here. You can kind of see what I do is I take a stroke out and then I just do small strokes at the tip, longer strokes at the back. I keep it light. I try to keep it looking kind of wild. Nice little palm tree that's happening there. You know, we don't really know where this person grabbed their little line of palm trees from either. So as artists, we have to think about those things too. You know, how does this look? You know, is it balanced for our painting? Is that line a balanced line? And like there's one palm tree in this that I feel like that is just cropped in there and makes no sense.
So you're just
I'm going to resize it because I'm like, that would not be, if that palm tree was that size and it just...
You're going to do some tree fixing.
I'm going to do some tree fixing. And in our traceable, the trees will be fixed. Because things just wouldn't be that size in relationship to each other. And I'll take the moon. The moon's the one kind of thing that will be like, okay, that's fine.
Maybe some stormtroopers were pruning those trees. You know, their accuracy isn't that
some
great.
trees AT-ATs would walk on. Is it sad? Maybe I could tell you right now. Just made me really mad at just wanted to blow up the Death Star all over again. I was like, yeah! That's it for the Death Star. Man, they suck. They suck, they suck, they suck. Hey, sweetie. All right, go be with Dad.
Oh, buddy, come over here.
I love you. You're doing a good job. Thank you. Spider's been helping me get ready for our next big painting event, which is coming up. I mean, we've got paintings all week, but we have a big thing coming up the 23rd. Shark Week.
Shark Week.
Shark Week.
That's gonna be fun.
It's going to be super fun.
There could be sharks in these waters.
Dude, there are sharks in these waters.
And they're like probably epic mutant sharks.
No.
No?
They're all hammerheads.
Oh,
And
well
they're
then
sharks.
I think that my first statement is
And
true.
stingrays.
Those hammerheads are crazy sharks.
They're
They're
so
like
cool.
aggressive. And,
Are they?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought they weren't aggressive.
Oh,
I thought
no.
they were like nurse sharks.
No, they're just like.
All right, so
they're
dude,
like,
this is
eat
why
your
we're watching
kayak.
Shark Week all week, okay?
They're like, I'm gonna come taste you and see if you're friendly.
There is a hut over here to the right, but I feel like it's visually confusing, so I'm gonna just keep this all to palm trees. You know, you put in the buildings you think are gonna tell this story and reflect well on what you're trying to say. You know, take the minute, think about that. The silhouette's important in this painting. You shouldn't phone it in.
Mm.
I'm gonna just real quick, because this is I wouldn't want to paint this whole thing in with this tiny brush. We'll be here for 5 days.
The moon will have set by then.
The moon, I'm going to get a slightly bigger round brush and just paint the basis of my black silhouette in, and then get in all my details.
Ah.
You guys didn't even know that was as involved as it was. So these paintings can be simple, but layer consuming. There's a lot of layers.
Lot of layers.
A lot of layers. Happy to share how to do them. Happy to. Now I might make the trees bigger here, saying that this is farther away in some way. I don't mind that. Not that that is actually how that works, but you can do things in a painting to tell a story that are different than, you know, what might happen in a photograph. Have some latitude, like your moon can be this big.
Mm.
Take advantage of those moments where you can and play with it. So even so, like even just running that little bit of line, and now you can see how the lighter color really helps, not having it be as dark to still feel as lit up. If you went super dark, you'd barely see the value differences between these.
Yeah.
It might not be as enjoyable of a painting.
Now, is this one of those times when if you needed to, you could just flip or rotate your canvas around?
Yeah, and I'm gonna, thank you. Sometimes I'm like trying to avoid blocking the camera. John reminds me that I can move the canvas.
And I can rotate I can move the camera around. I have a robotic camera.
And that's what's fun. It's really fun to do projects like this. Like, not only do I enjoy seeing your guys' projects like this, and we will be dropping, like we just dropped the werewood, and that was super easy. We're going to drop another really easy painting tutorial here soon. So if you guys need a palette cleanser from working so hard, we've got that. Keeping it fun. Got to keep that art fun. That little bit of white dotting, I want to get rid of that. Because it's going to create a visual line of value that I don't want. Pulling the horizon line closer to me when I haven't chosen to pull it closer to me.
Oh, yeah. It's easy that.
If I choose to pull it closer, that's cool. But if I don't, I need to disperse of that line.
Yeah.
Light colors moving closer to me in my mind's eye. All right. A few more palms, don't we think?
Yeah.
You know, whatever you want in your world, right? Little bush, happy little bush, little bush. Just telling that little story there. There's a part of me that was so weird. Do these weird things, and I'm like, stop it. That does not add to the piece. So you don't need to do it. if you'll see here, I'm dancing my little brush along, making these little kind of wiggly, random lines.
Yeah.
That tells a story of plants and bits of things, keeping this distant line looking more real.
Cool.
Then light on the tip, resting with my pinky. Putting in the basis, little star basis for whatever I want to have on my palm. Reloading, and then just making those little lines. And I like when the little palm trees come together. I really do, because they're sort of cheerful. And this is just one of those parts of this painting that make it work. So just keep dabbing, dabbing, dabbing along. You know, sometimes when we do these pre-recorded, the temptation is to say, and now paint in a bunch of trees and then fast forward. But that doesn't necessarily always help you see how those trees are laid in. And sometimes, you know, when you're on that art journey, you need to see how they got put in there. How does that tree get made?
Yeah.
Right? How does that happen? I'm going to put in some like little grass lines. This could be like a pampas grass. You don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe, umbrella maybe.
You're just sort of lost in the painting now.
I am. I'm like
You're just.
thinking,
I heard your brain just drift off into painting land.
I did. Did it drift off?
It did. You went. I'm drawn. I'm painting now. I'm
I
gonna make
put
this
my-
umbrella
I have to
here.
give myself some place to sit, okay?
Okay. You were like, I'm thinking about this, but I'm gonna tell them I'm painting, but I'm now thinking about this thing, but I gotta talk about my painting, but I'm really thinking about making something here.
I'm dancing my brush around. There's something there. There was a place to sit and observe.
You made a place to sit.
You made a place to sit.
I like
A
that.
place to sit. You can make anything you want. It's your painting. Last 3 palms.
Shelley's like, you could paint Kong back there.
I could paint what?
Kong.
Yes, I could.
He could be just standing right on back there, just waving hello. So
I'm
there-
just too much of a like protect the animals person to not be like, everything on this planet is endangered, knock it off. Even those little creatures you don't like that will destroy us all, still rarer than you. Like, we've never seen that species before. We don't know. I mean, like fire ants, I don't think I want them off the island, but so I'm just telling the story of slightly bigger, more prominent palm trees here.
Is this black gesso?
This, I really like my black gesso. It goes very matte.
So yes, it is?
Yeah.
Okay, it is black gesso.
It's incredibly economy, and I use a lot. And so it's just one of those places where I don't lose any performance by using the gesso. Same color, fastness, same everything. I like that palm tree right there.
Yeah.
Makes me super happy. See if I can make myself as happy with every other palm. Just enjoying myself. And again, we'll put up a traceable, which we didn't have till I paint it. Because who knows what I'm going to do on one of these things. We don't know. Oh, it's hot. I still have to show you froth and how to cast a shadow on clear water. Oh, but I'm gonna. That's happening today. Everyone here is learning how to paint something see-through.
We're about to. We're almost. I mean, like you're almost done with the sky now, huh?
Oh yeah, this is just this part now. Once
Yeah.
this is done, we are done. Up here, I feel very satisfied with what we've done above this line. I
Yeah.
feel like we've represented the sky really well. Actually, probably even improved it a bit. Because can't help it. And then,
I like it.
you know, yeah, I'm really happy with this painting. Proud of this painting. Hopefully you guys are proud. And I'm trying not to move on at such an intense pace that you can't paint along.
Yeah, there's a lot of people here with us today. We've been having right around 600 people this entire time.
Well, it's a great painting
So-
to do, guys. This is what painting is for. Landscapes like this, right?
Mm-hmm. And look at that. We got almost 900 likes, 890 likes.
Thank
My
you
gosh,
so
thank
much.
you guys so much for coming and being here with us today. Wow, that's really nice of you.
Let's make a nice little finishing line here. 'Cause what do we want to do? Wiggle that brush around. Look at me wiggle this brush around.
Me zooming on the brush wiggling.
It's like jazz. Yeah, cat. I don't actually know anything about jazz, so I should stop. Let's see, we're just creating this space here. Now we have our silhouette. Silhouettes are easy, but that doesn't mean that they're not complex, and it doesn't mean that they don't need for you guys to think about them and consider them and think about how they're going to be, because you're going to be looking at this painting. You don't want to be looking at that one palm tree that irritates you.
Mm-mm.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm. No, you don't. I'm so thirsty. Spider, could you give me water with ice from filter?
Oh.
Thank you.
Sometimes when I see a fire, I think they come from Kong Island and they're on fire and then we're by on fire.
Spider's been watching this
You
whole
need to
time.
say that in the microphone to
He's really
Dad.
enjoying it. Okay. So
Spider
he's-
needs to
he has
explain
an
where he
idea.
thinks fire ants come
Okay,
from before
so
he gets me water.
here,
I'm going to
he's
put
gonna
out a
ex-
little more paint for my Phthalo Turquoise.
When I think about fire ants, I think that they came from Kong Island, and they they're like ants that are on fire, and then whoever they bite, they go on fire.
That's a pretty accurate description, I think.
Just nailed fire ant.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
So what are we doing next here?
We're going to put in some water.
We're gonna put water in.
Yep, I'm going to look at my phone.
Oh.
Water, water everywhere. All right. Nope. So I like to zoom in.
Yeah.
I like to zoom in a little bit when I'm doing my water. And I'm going to grab maybe a filbert, maybe a nice bright. I'm going to grab this nice number 6 black pearl bright, okay? And I'm going to, oh, you're the best, baby. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Get you the water there.
A nicest person. And I'm going to start putting in this dark color back here because the water towards the back of this is quite dark. Quite dark. We're going to start just layering that in. Dark, dark, dark. You may need to even get some of your Alizarine Crimson like we did earlier into this. Oh, it's all dried out. Because
Yeah.
that's how long I've been out here.
We've
My
been
paint
doing
done
this for a
dried
little
on me.
while. Yeah,
Huh?
we've been doing this for a little while.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
I go fast.
You are going really fast, and everyone thinks this looks really beautiful.
Yeah.
They
well,
really, really are. They love this.
just running this along our horizon line, right? Dark, dark, dark.
Mm-hmm.
And it's okay to pull some of this dark value into our water. There's a little area here that's, it's a little bit of a wave. It's a little bit dark. I'm going to get some glaze. The nice thing about glaze when you're doing landscapes is it lets you take these values and layer them up and have a lot more control over, maybe their result. I'm going to get a little more green. Get some of that green value in there that we have. Get some of that green. Need some of my luminous screen to see what I'm looking at.
So now after this, we're going to go out on TheArtSherpa.com and hang out and
just
chat.
answer questions.
Right.
Right? Because sometimes it's hard. John tries to see the questions, but they're really zipping by.
We got a lot of questions today. So there's a lot happening.
All right. I'm going to get a little of my Alizarine Crimson and a little of my Docks Purple. And along here, and a little more glaze, run this a little bit along this edge here because, believe it or not, the edge of this on this had ended up looking pretty purple. We're just going to make sure that that is sort of here as well. There is a little bit of this purple that comes up actually here. Look at that. It becomes like a shadow. And we're going to pull this purple back. Get some more glaze going. Now work this wave, man. We're working it. Now that we've done the simple wave, right, because we have the do's and don'ts wave, we're feeling what, pretty confident in our waves?
Yeah.
Let's work this edge of the water. Also, this is going to help us, honestly, with our froth. And what we just did up in the clouds is about to become our friend on painting what we can't see. Now this corner here, I'm going to move to the side, John, I'm going to be up here.
All right.
I'm darkening this space right here. But I'm using my glaze so it's fairly transparent. But it should be a noticeable darker value. Hey guys.
the kids have all come in to watch.
Yeah, well, Honey likes to do her own kind of art. Mommy likes to let her work that out.
Honey was in here watching just yesterday, the last broadcast.
Yeah,
So
she does. When it speaks to her, different art speaks to different ages.
mm-hmm.
So see, I'm starting to cast the shadow.
Yeah.
Starting to talk about. So when you're painting something you can't see, what you paint is what you can see. I know I sound like Yoda or something there, but that's really what it is. When you're painting what you can't see, what you're actually painting is what you can't see. So we're going to just darken this far, 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 because it's distant, so it'd be dark and far away, right?
Yeah.
Now, they did cast like a shadow of the moon on the beach, but that's just way too scary, so we're not doing that. Because people aren't that close to death here.
Oh man, our stream is acting up again.
Okay, well let's reset because I'm about to like break down sea foam finally on the YouTube, and I want everyone to get a chance to see it.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch it over here, and I tell you what we're gonna do. Are you all done with the wave there?
I'm all done with this part, and then I'm gonna put some sea foam in, and then we're gonna paint the backwater, and then we're gonna paint the splash, and then we're done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see if it comes up.
Oh,
and
my
I think
children.
it does. I think.
Magical bubbles repair the stream. Okay, how are we
Okay,
doing?
I think we're gonna go. I think we're coming back now.
We're coming back.
Okay, so let's see here. Oh, it looks like it's doing better.
Okay, so I've got this dark color that I made, right? See that right here?
Mm-hmm.
It's a couple of places around. I'm going to get that on my brush. And then I'm going to get my white, okay,
Yep.
on my little tiny brush. And so the first thing I can paint that I can see is distant little bits of sea foam. Look at this right here. That's something I can see. Maybe there's another little bit. Right? Uh-oh, you guys are going to have to go up front. Seat positioning is like a big, big thing. So we're just pulling along the edge of our wave, what we can see. Now I'm going to get my brush in here. I believe it's the smallest one I have. And so now we're going to paint. I'm going to go like this. I'm going to make, see, this is not white, a little bit of this scumbly. See my hand going back and forth?
Yeah.
And then I'm going to paint a little bit here. And a couple. I'm not going to be able to paint everyone that's in the photograph. Because I, have to like stop painting at some point with you guys. But I'm going to show y'all, and this is really about having this tinted. You don't want the brightest white you've got. You want this tinted at first. You can come back with some brighter white, but you need it tinted a little bit. See what I'm doing?
Yeah.
Making sure it's tinted. All right, let's get some. We want some that we can really see though. So we're going to just pick some of these little foamy bits and we're going to follow their lines. Follow, 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 follow the yellow brick road. Coming along here, I'm going back and forth. I want some lines to be thin, some lines to be more decided. Just painting that. Scratch maybe some of this back here so that they seem close together. And then they're going to kind of disappear as they get off into the distance. See how we created some fading?
Yeah. Now you're still using that titanium white?
I'm using titanium white on this.
Or not zinc white?
You could go zinc if the titanium white is overwhelming you.
Okay.
It's going to be even lighter. The titanium white, here's what I'll show you. That this is
well,
when you're talking
so
about
fast.
the just barely ones, the ones that you can hardly see.
Yeah.
They're like ghosts.
Yeah.
See? It's just a reflection.
Is that zinc you were just using?
This is zinc.
Okay, that's
if
zinc.
you do these, if you do the zinc, it's fantastic. It's a good one. It's the ghost. And the titanium is the ones you can see.
Ah.
You're just creating. And sometimes these connect together because this is really the foam as bubbles. It's breaking up. The water's pulling it at different densities. It's pretty interesting. Okay, we get some zinc. So we're just going to tell some of this over here. I'm going to rinse this out. And I'm going to get a small, small, small bright. I mean like my mini. My mini-me bright.
Yeah.
Because what's the other thing I can see?
I don't know.
The other thing that I can see
Is it waves?
is the shadows of the foam.
Oh yeah, that's right. You can see it there.
That's the only two things I can paint in this circumstance. I can paint the shadow of the foam, and I can paint the foam. Obviously, I can't paint water that's see-through.
That's true.
Right? But what happens to us in our brains when we're painting along when we're new is you know the water's there and you're just trying for all the world to figure out how to paint it. Instead of just breathing and going, what can I see? Well, I can see a little shadow underneath my foam. I'm still back and forth. Oh, there's a sail. Push notification. See how I'm casting the shadow down underneath it?
Yeah.
What does that do?
It gives it depth.
It gives it that depth. I talked to John, but I'm really actually talking to all you guys because if we were together, I would be walking around, there'd be hugging, and we'd be talking about how this world is built.
And it's funny because she talks to me because I some of this stuff I've begun to pick up, but actually a lot of this stuff I'm still, still kind of learning as you guys are.
What's there? Shadows.
Lots of shadows.
Shadows underneath the sea foam.
I really like how those shadows add in like that.
And it can be frustrating to do this, learning how to make these randomized shapes to drop the shadow down because there's a small space. The shadow isn't directly under the foam, right? It's a little under the foam. See, there's a space. And that's what gives the depth or the width of the water that's there. If the shadow's right on the foam, then we're just saying that the foam is round. We have to cast the shadow in some depth away from the foam. If that makes sense.
It does.
So I'm just here and casting some shadows. It's very dark here, so that's helpful. All right, casting a little shadow. It's not about being perfect either. It's just about telling an overall story. You could spend 2 days on seafoam if you were just trying to create a very hyper-realistic piece. you could spend 2 days on seafoam.
Yeah.
It is a good idea when you have that in.
Hold on just a second. Hold on just a second. We're going to hold on just a second before you go any further because it just said some bad streaming. So we're going to make sure that we don't miss anything.
We're really there. We can get here.
We can get there.
Hang in with me.
So
We've
just
got this painting.
Yeah, it's acting all
change
erratic. Let me
everything for
fix
you.
it. We have to do the bubble fixing. Hold on a second. I know that I can make that work. Watch. I go bang, bang, bang. Bubble fixing.
Magic bubbles fix
Turn to
Mom.
Oh, and there it goes. It says good again. See the bubbles fixed.
Okay, the bubbles are really cool. By the way, it just flashed lightning out my window.
Uh-oh. I got to go
So
over
I
there.
cut some white.
Okay.
I'm really just trying to hurry this painting along.
No,
and
it's
I'm
okay.
going to just
We
come
got it.
along some of these foam areas. Look at me. Just corner my teeny tiny brush, telling some brighter highlights. What does that do? It pulls that foam up away from the shadow. This is just the titanium white. Now my foam has shape. Lots of ways I could do this. I could take a toothpick and make a lot of little dots. Done that. Put like 140 hours into foam. Very good result. Hyper realistic. Not really effective outside of the time lapse scenario. Just tell some of these stories. Just so you can get around, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so now we've got that. And we've got some shadow here. And we could probably strengthen the shadow here just a little bit.
Now, Cindy thinks the foam is looking really cool.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
Just something you might not know until you know.
You may not know it till you know it.
You might not know it till you know it.
But once you know it, you can't unknow it.
Once you know it, you can't unknow it. And then you'll see it in all the foam pictures.
In all the places.
In all, you will. You'll be like on
It's-
Pinterest going, oh, I totally see it now. I'm going to continue to darken.
And you'll start
under
seeing
what
clouds
is gonna
differently.
Be my waves. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Darkening there. Now, there'll be another layer of shadow that gets put there.
More layers of shadow.
But first, I've got to finish out a
Ooh.
little reflection. I know, I'm hearing it.
No, you're fine.
Oh, are you sure?
Yeah, no,
I
yeah.
feel like so
Oh,
much pressure.
no. We have this stream thing figured out here.
Okay.
So as long as we don't have a total
I'm
multiple
going to get my zinc white out again.
internet connection failure, we're going to be okay.
Little zinc white.
And so you know, they like it so much that there are 994 likes out there right now.
Whoa. Are we going to hit 1,000 likes?
I think we're going to hit 1,000 likes here.
That's pretty wild. I'm kind of tripping. I grabbed some green, and I'm getting some more zinc, and I'm just going to be creating some of the little wave highlights. So some of this is light and some of this is darker, and that's what we're trying to talk about. And so right here along this front water, I'm trying to create just a little ripple with a little highlight. See, and it's just light, isn't it? It's just not intrusive. It's not, you know, you'd be like, oh, it's coming back here. Won't go too far back, though, because that's our distant horizon line. Our picture brought it back all the way to the buildings, but that's not how far you see bright reflections. So we can't do that. And sometimes using a photograph as reference is knowing where the photograph might be wrong for photoshopping, for color balancing, and then you're just going to have to be figuring out how can I tell this story and not do that. You know, how can I tell this choppy water story of waves coming in? See, I'm just bringing in this value. I'm trying to leave highlights to the sky, and then little chop waves here and there. And I will bring in a bunch of, I'm going to get into my white now. I'm going to bring it over here. We're going to definitely, we're going to talk about on the edge of my brush some choppiness. We don't want to take all our dark value out. I just keep working that. I'll rinse out. Make sure that this is nice and deep over here. Now, you can get right into the white here, and you can, truth is though, the reflection would be here. Can I fix this? I don't know, I have to. Because it's where the moon is that would drop our light, isn't it? Where is our light? It's where the moonlight is cast. So trust me and dash this along here. Doesn't mean that you can't talk about some distant waves catching everywhere, but the light you want to make sure is coming from the moon is there.
Ah. So it's just gotta look like
it just would have to
that
be there.
angling
Couldn't
of
really,
reflection.
so whatever, the sun was here the day they took the picture.
Mm-hmm. So they needed to move. You need to work this in because you sort of have some experience with these reflections.
Yeah, like I'm like, oh, it would not be there. And that's the hard thing about working from some photographs is you're like, oh man, the light would not be there. What do you do? You just work it out. Doesn't mean it doesn't have any light. Doesn't mean it doesn't have any form. You just coming back and forth. I'm letting there be some value in the water. The water is moving, right?
Yeah.
We'd see some stuff. Now.
Wow, that's so coming together.
It's a thing. We're getting there.
So they're ready to celebrate with you as soon as you get this all your foam and stuff in there. They're like, oh, we're excited.
There it is.
They're very excited.
I'm like, where's my stuff? So now it's all going to come together in the wave. This painting is nearly there. This painting has really happened for us. We're going to make sure we have enough to make our deep foam color out what we need. We don't need to put a ton of paint out at the end, but you need to have enough to make the colors, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to put a smidge of crimson out because I know I'm going to need it. I've got some phthalo blue, but I'm going to need a smidge of the phthalo green so I can make a little more phthalo turquoise, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to take my little palette knife and work out the last bits of what I've got here into some phthalo turquoise. You can use some of your gel to extend it. I have battered this palette to death.
You have used that palette up.
I have, and this is going to need a good cleaning. And so I've got to put my shadow color of foam in, which we know is a little alizarin, is a little diox into our turquoise. And then, right, see how that's that gray purple? We're going to get our white and make, at first, our dark value of foam.
Oh.
Which there is. We're going to dash this around. Dash, 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 dash. Lots of ways to get foam. But basically, like hair, like clouds, like all things in motion and involved, it's about shape first and value. Shape and value. What I find with my scumbling brush is, and I'm going to do this little trick for myself, the scumbling brush works best if the canvas isn't tacky. So I'm going to put this aside and I'm going to hard dry my canvas so my brush scumbles. Can we do it?
Yes, you can. I'll turn you down. Oh, and while she's doing that, I've turned her down. I can turn up the music and say thank you guys for coming and hanging out. We have over 1,000 likes right now. Over 1,044, I think. Oh my God, 1,043 likes. So thank you guys for coming in out. And after the show, we're going to be going out to TheArtSherpa.com where we're going to hang out and chat, and you guys can come out and hang out with us. And gosh, man, this has been such a fun day with all you guys here. I really, really, really am looking forward to seeing all of your paintings. Specifically, I mean, like, this has been, obviously, from everyone showing up, this has been a really popular painting. And so I'm really looking forward to seeing all of your versions of these moony, lagoon beach evening scenes. It's so cool. So please post those up. And we look forward to seeing you guys out on chat today. So, okay, there you're back.
So if ever you're doing a dry brush technique and you're feeling just a ton of drag and you're not making any kind of headway, it's probably just that your canvas is a little bit tacky. Not like in bad taste, just. Let's scumble this back and forth. So I'm trying to make the line of my seafoam. Line of my seafoam. Sometimes it's a thicker, sometimes it's thinner. You want to make sure you're wiggling back and forth. I can bring a little bit out here. Dabbing back and forth, see? This is step one. Step one. We're going to let this be a much more frothy bit of the wave. Coming off here. Just lightly dusting, right? When we have that basis, we're going to just make sure that this is bigger and more involved because that's our big bit, right? Rinse this little guy out. Get your mini. Okay, so where'd my small scumble go? There she is. I'm going to get right into, now I've got a little of my aqua, right, on my brush, and I'm going to get a lot of my white. And start thinking about what you're saying. Little highlights. Playing up here and there, right?
Yeah.
Deep shadow down here. Where are your highlights? Where are they playing? There's a bit here. It's kind of crazy and involved. And I probably will still use my splatter brush because I just very much like how that looks in aquatic paintings. That is not a necessary way. Some people, they just do all their waves with fingers.
Oh, yeah, I saw you doing some finger stuff earlier.
Yeah, finger is okay. I'm just coming here and I'm just talking about this, dabbing this along, scumbling this along. Look at that. This is another thing. Think, the shape of this brush is going to let you just sort of dab this sort of really great randomized. Because it's round. So don't feel like you can't use it in these unexpected ways. See how that's, yep, it's gone well. Sometimes so in painting you really want to be able to stand back. But sometimes, I can't. Because I'm up close and I'm sort of teaching and that's sort of an involved thing. Okay. Rinse. Still not done.
Still not? I love it. I think this, I'm just amazed at how it just more and more layers keep coming in. It's just like, boop, boop, boop.
Now I've got my little more detailed brush. And I can start to tell this little story.
What story are you telling?
With my little detailed brush. Of little defined bits of water that are having a moment.
Moment waters.
Yep. This, the shadow, and the splatter are big deal. Just finding little edges like I do in clouds. See, I'm finding this little edge right here. And I'm highlighting it.
Now, this was a community pick?
This was voted on by the community, and luckily everyone but the boat picture that they voted on was an image I could get rights to paint and teach on the show.
Gotcha.
The boat, I had to find one very similar and everyone will really like it. You know, that's just what we do. You guys want to do something, I'm going to show you how to do it. Take some of these up here. Now, still while this is all like this, right? Where's my shadow color? I got my kind of phthalo turquoise worked out here, which is a little Alizarine Crimson, a little this. And what do? We glaze, right?
Yes.
Because what do we have under waves really hardcore?
Water?
Shadow.
Oh. It's true, shadow there.
Very, very dark shadow. And we have to make sure that we show that shadow. And you want to make sure that that's pretty defined.
Now you had
along this edge right here. We've built it in, but this is the strong one that's going to really solidify. See?
Now this was you licensed this image.
Yes. No, I
Yeah,
definitely did.
Well, they were just curious as to where you're getting these from. So you get them. You use lots of different sources.
I use lots of different sources. I just make sure that I can get rights. Either I get permission from the photographer, a written release, or I use a Creative Commons site like Pixabay or Paint My Photo, or I pay for it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I try to get my images. All right, can we see the shadow?
Yeah.
Now you have a wave that's rushing in.
That is pretty cool.
You could be good there.
Yeah.
You could be good there. We're not.
We're not?
We're not.
What are we going to do now?
We're going to put out some fluid paint.
What is that bell noise, Jane?
That is...
that's your phone going off.
Honestly, what that is Stephanie Bergeron being very supportive of the channel right now. If I'm to look, she is sharing with the world that we are awesome.
You should flip your little switch over there so it doesn't ding.
I don't know how to do that.
Okay, I'm on the top. See that
I'm
little
right
switch?
now looking for my splatter brush.
I'll do it.
Where's my splatter brush? I'm good, though. I don't need the picture anymore, so you can take it. Yeah, I put it down, and then I don't know what I did with it. And I need it.
Okay, well, then you go. Splatter brush. Splatter brush. No.
There it is. Oh, it just fell down. Right there.
Oh, that one.
Under my towel. Okay. My splatter brush. I don't want my big splatter brush, the one that goes whack. I want this one because I need control. So I'm going to dip this in my fluid paint. I really do think the fluid helps. This is the only way I do it. It's pretty light in there. You can see I'm just dusting. Yeah, my finger's involved. And I'm going to make some splatters.
Oh, so you're going in for the extra. The
Right here. It needs that. I like that. I like to feel the surf, and this brush gives me enough control where I feel like I can put it where I want it. So right here at that corner, I like to have a little bit of that extra surf afoot. You can even be like, hey, right here. So see how that's like, and then in the painting, I know it's a silly thing, but it makes me super happy. And so many brushes that I have.
That's not a bad thing.
It's not bad.
It's
I love my little brush hoard.
It's a lovely problem to have.
I'm going to just take my little brush.
Uh-oh, I got to go over there.
And along the top of the foam.
You're signing it.
If I was being cheeky, I'd drop a shadow of Sherpa underneath.
Sherpa drop shadow.
Well, yeah, just to say this is part of the foam. Yeah. But I kind of have it where that's happened, so it's... Oh, no, I'm doing it. You know what? Because I am cheeky. I don't know why I would turn it into an evil Disney witch, but it just makes me really happy.
I like it.
It's subtle, but dude...
I like it.
It's there. Okay.
Oh,
You
man.
challenged me. You said, show me how to paint this crazy picture. I showed you how to paint this crazy picture.
You did, too.
Happy to do it anytime. Just a joy for me to share with you how fun how easy, how art is for everybody. We
Now-
have more of your viewer picks coming up on Saturdays, with the exception, of course, Shark Week, because it's Shark all week. And you're going to be watch the Facebook group and everything. And meet us. Why don't you go meet us at the chat? We're going to go into the Art Sherpa chat in the red room. That's on the website. The Art Sherpa website. I'm sure links are getting dropped. There's a chat room, the red room. I think you need to have an account, though, to chat, right?
Yeah, you have to log in.
It's free.
And the little chat icons in the lower right-hand corner of the screen, so you just click it and it'll pop up the slide there. And gosh, Cinnamon, did you know that we've had about 600 people here this entire time, and we've got over 1,080 likes already.
Thank you so much.
So thank you guys.
You just make me want to teach you other awesome paintings that you guys vote on, and you're like, can you totally paint this? And please, someone come show up Thursday, because I'm going to be painting all day on this very complicated painting that you guys designed.
Oh yeah. So, well, I guess we're gonna go and we're gonna go over to the chat room. So we're gonna catch up with you guys a little bit
Catch
later.
those questions we might have missed.
Yep. Love you guys.